This video is about the average value of a function. So what we're looking for is what is the value per unit. So right now we have this whole total area here, and we want to find out what is it per unit in value. And so that means it's an average. So if we take and we add up all the parts, divide it by the number of parts, it'll give us the average. So let's take a look at what this means with Desmos. So this is our total area. The total area is 21. And that 21 is made up of 4 different parts. So here's the first part right here. And so this one has an area of 4.55. And this is our second part, which has an area of 8.495. And then the third part has an area of 6.5788. If you notice, it's just the integral for that little part. And then the last one has 1.402. So there were 4 parts right here, and each of them give their own area. So if we want to find the average value, we would take and add up each of those parts, which is the actual integral itself, and then divide it by 4, which is our difference in our interval from start to finish. So it's 5, take away 1, there are 4 parts. So instead of finding each individual one, we just find the entire integral from 1 to 5 of f of x dx, and then divide it by 4 because there are 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. So adding up these 4 parts would give us a total of 21.03. So equals 21.03. And how many parts are there? Well, we're going from 1 to 5, so that would be 5 take away 1, which is 4. So if we plug that in our calculator, it gives us 5.26. So 5.26 per unit. So each of these, if we were to take and add them all up, divide it by 4, it gives us 5.26. So the average value here is 5.26. So let's try it again. So by using the formula, and then we're going to calculate each one individually. So first we're going to just use our formula. So thinking about it here, this is our picture of 27 minus x cubed from 0 to 3. So our formula would be, well, we're going to have 3 take away 0. So there are 3 parts. And then we're going to go from 0 to 3 of our function f of x. So that will find us the total area. So it's adding up all 3 parts, the entire area. And if we plug this in our calculator, it tells us our average value. So plugging that in our calculator gives us 20.25. So it's 20.25 per unit. Now, I kind of want you to make sure you understand what's going on. So we're going to do this again by doing intervals of 1. So we're going to take and find the total. So we're going to go and find the first one. So that would be from 0 to 1 of 27 minus x cubed dx. And then we're going to do the other one. So we're going to add that to 1 to 2 of 27 minus x cubed dx plus 2 to 3 of 27 minus x cubed dx. So that means this is our first one. So it's that first one there. And then this is the next one. So that next piece. And then this is our last one right there. And then we're going to take this and divide it by the number of parts. So if you look at it, there are 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. 3 integrals, 3 parts. And so now if we plug these into our calculator, it will tell us what they are. But we're going to use Desmos. So the total area is 60.75, which means these 3 add up to 60.75, and then we divided it by 3 in the first part. But let's find each individual one. So our first one is 26.75. Our next section is 23.25. And then our last section is 10.75. And if we add those 3 up, we get 60.75, which is what our integral is doing. So it gives us 60.75. And then how many parts are there? 3. So again, the average value is 20.25. So all we're doing by taking the integral is adding up all the different parts and then dividing it by the number of parts there are. So that's all this formula is. All the parts summed up. So the sum of all the parts divided by the number of parts. So let's try one now. So a manufacturer supplies this many 100 units of a certain commodity to the market when the price is P dollars per unit. So if you plug in the price, it would tell you the supply for that price. So what we want to do is find the average supply as the price varies from 2 to 5. So we're trying to find out what is the average supply per dollar. So how many hundred units are supplied per dollar? So if you were to plug into, we would have 1,500 units supplied, and so on. Each of these represents the supply based on the dollar. So if we take the integral from 2 to 5, it'll tell us the total here. It'll add up the 3 parts, and then we're just going to divide it by 3 parts. So this becomes 1 over 5 minus 2 integral from 2 to 5. And then we plug it in our calculator, and it gives us 24. Well, the top is our adding up, and the bottom is the dollars. So this would be 24, oops, not 1,000, 100 units, and then the bottom unit here is dollars. So it's 2,400 units per dollar is our average supply. So to get a picture of that, from 2 to 3, the actual supply was 1,700 units. From 3 to 4, it was 2,300 units. And from 4 to 5, it was 3,000 units. So that gives us an average of 2,400 units being supplied over that interval. And there you go.